Hello, guys. Welcome back to SWS Books, and delighted to be joined with Jon Tretheway. He's recently had a show on the 2nd of September at Big City Dreams, and he's got one this Saturday at the Peacock Gym. And yeah, Jon, how are you?
I'm very well, Sam. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Good to get you back on.
Thank you. Good to be on. Always good to chat to you.
And yes, so we'll jump straight into it. Big City Dreams. First on the card, you had David Merger v Miguel Zamora, and it was 40-36 to Miguel Zamora, and it was David didn't really get going, did he? Couldn't really get close to him.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, Sam. I had a few issues on the night, and I missed the beginning of that fight because I was trying to sort a few problems out. As you know, it can be a bit hectic, so I didn't really see it. I saw bits of it, but by all accounts, it looked like he did lose 4 rounds to 0. The away fighter winning like that is quite conclusive. We weren't too sure what to expect from David. Hopefully he'll come again. I think he's had some good sort of like experience before becoming a pro. His brother's a very solid pro, Piotr Merger, as I'm sure you're aware, and the fans are. It just wasn't to be maybe on the night, but let's hope they go and regroup and come back again because, I could drop in some real famous people who've lost on debuts. I think Johnny Nelson, did he lose on a debut?
He lost his first 3.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not comparing David Merger to Johnny Nelson, but...
Oh,
get beat, they think the end of the world, but actually learning from a defeat just makes you better. So we wish him well, and I'm sure he'll be back soon.
But it wasn't no journeyman he took on his debut. He took on someone with 1 win, 1 draw. So
yeah, that's the other thing. So you never know what to expect there anyway. So look, as I said, it just wasn't his night that night, and hopefully they'll go back to the drawing board with Mark Marcel, that's his trainer, a really good trainer, respected in the game, and I'm sure they'll sort of have the discussions, and he'll be back, I'm sure.
And then you had Alex Branson Cole v Robbie Chapman. I've spoken to both lads before, and I've watched the fight. I mean, in my opinion, as Alex said to me as well, he said a draw was fair, and I thought a draw was fair. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, look, with what you get with Alex Cole is what you see. He's one of the most honest, says it how it is, really nicest guys in the sport. It was a draw. Robbie is a consummate professional as a journeyman, so I kind of thought that Alex would get through that. Robbie got a bad cut, and I think it was from a clash of heads. It didn't get stopped clearly, how the fight was going. But Robbie's one of the best professional journeymen out there, if that's what you want to call them, on the circuit. So again, he'll come back from that, Alex. We've already got some bits lined up, possibly some good 50-50 fights for him coming in the coming months, and he'll learn from that experience as well. And again, he hasn't got a defeat. It was only a draw. Like I said, some people get really upset when they get a defeat, which isn't the worst thing at all, but he'll have learned from those 2 rounds that he lost for sure.
And with Alex, can we expect to see him on more of your shows in the future?
Yes, I think with Alex now, he's at the stage he was 4-0, so they want to go 6 fights, 8 fights, 10 fights, 12 fights, where they're learning their trade against some journeymen. And then you get some that after 1, 2, 3, 4 are happy to jump in the deep end. So, he might have the odd more warm up, or he might not, but we've got plans for him coming forward in the next couple of months in a 50-50 at your call. So that'd be good.
Then you had Karan Jones v Badr Kamari. That was a good fight.
Yeah, listen, Kyron's a close part of our team. We've done 2 shows before in Cardiff. Both times he was on that show. He's from Wales. I think he's from the Valleys. He's never fought outside of Wales. He's been on a Joe Cordina undercard on a Matchroom when Joe Cordina won the world title. Kieran Jones is a very, very top prospect. He's very, very good. Maybe not known so much out of Wales as he should be because he's Welsh and he only fights in Wales. So we kind of said to him for a while, why don't you come and fight in London? I have to give the guy credit. He did 7 grand's worth of tickets, Sam, which is quite a lot of tickets. If you're in London, that's a good return. He's in Wales. They come down in coach loads. They were noisy, they were rowdy always, but the Welsh fans are always great, and we always enjoy working with Kieran, and we look forward to working with him again soon. He's obviously looking for some titles now, so that will probably be a Welsh title or a Celtic title. That sometimes makes it a bit harder to put those on in London because he needs his fans out.
Yeah.
I was just thinking my business partner Aaron just now, and I was like, well, why can't Kieran fight for a Celtic title in London against someone from Scotland or Ireland or something like that? Both of them travel down. But yeah, very good performance. He did lose a couple of rounds, but again, I think the guy, I'm just trying to think, well, yeah, we had to match him the day before. So his opponent fell through. There was some paperwork issues for his opponent. And it was about 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon where we found out that that match wasn't on. So for us to work very quickly, and I think matchmakers, hats off to them, within an hour we had it matched. So it was a total change of opponent and probably threw him off a bit. But
that Bahadur, I mean, he's fighting this week again. He don't come there to lose. He loves a scrap.
yeah, 100%. You're right. He didn't come to lose. He came for a proper scrap, and that again, because I think it was 4 rounds to 2 again on Kieran on that one. So a good learning for Kieran in a couple of them rounds. And again, we look forward to seeing Kieran back soon.
Then you have Billy Allington getting back to winning ways against Grevin Mendoza.
Yeah, look, we were chuffed to get Billy on. Sometimes there's levels in the sport, like to talk about it for fighters, Sam. There's levels at our level, what we do as promoters. We expect people when they get to the big boys, your Eddie Earns, your Frank Warrens, your Sky Sports and Ben Shloms of this world. We're quite happy because it means we're part of their development. We had Billy win the title last February in 2022. So about 16, 18 months ago, Billy won the English title against Jamie Robinson in an absolute war. He's gone off and had a couple more fights, and he's been on TV. Last time out, he was in against Dalton Smith, where he went the distance, and Dalton found it a lot harder than he thought. I remember seeing a post-fight interview with Eddie Hearn saying that Billy was a lot better than they expected. Well, he's not a lot better than we expected because we know how good Billy is. So for us to then, the next fight for Dalton Smith, out cold, right? So if you go in by levels there, if Billy sort of like spoiled and did a really good account of himself, Billy's stock probably went up in his loss to Dalton Smith, if that's possible. So for us to get him back up, and he hadn't been out for a little while, so it was a good opportunity for us. And he fought Grevin Mendoza. Yeah, Grevin is solid, hard as nails. He got a draw against Boy Jones Jr. One of people argued that. Yeah, exactly. Sammy McKay. Yeah, and a couple of people argued that maybe he won those fights, and Billy controlled that fight very, very well. I had it 4-2, and Billy won it 4-2. A lot of people don't give Billy credit. People think that he's quite slick. He moves a bit. He can bamboozle people. People call him a spoiler, but hard as nails, Billy. When people come and trade, Jamie Robinson is rock hard. When he traded, Billy stood up and traded. When Grevin traded, Billy stood up and traded. And Billy got the better of them exchanges on Saturday night. And we wish him well. I mean, if we can get him back out again next, that would be great. But I'd expect Billy to be banging on the door for another shot at a British title. Hopefully for him, Dalton Smith may vacate at some stage. He's had that belt a little while now, and one or two names banging on the door for a British title. Lucas Ballinall, for one, we've had him before. Harlem Eubank, they're the kind of people that I would expect him to be mixing with next, which probably be on a bigger platform than what we can offer him. But Peacock boy, so he's our guy and a friend of ours. Well done to Billy. Great performance.
And exactly, I mean, you're part of the journey because you've had him on your shows. I mean, won the English, and so you're part of the journey, and it'll be good to see him go on and win a British.
100%, as we say. Some promoters get the ump when people leave their kind of stable or platform and go on to something else, but we actually don't. As I said, we're very grounded. We know that we're doing well, and we're growing our business and our promotional company and what we offer for fighters. But title on a platform like DAZN or TNT, they're going to take it and get paid a lot more money and get the exposure that they deserve. And that's what we want for Billy now. We actually don't want Billy out next time because it means he's probably not getting as paid as much, and it means he's not going to have a shot at a big British title fight, because I'm not sure we're ready to have the funds to pay for a British title fight yet, Sam. But Billy, if he gets that British title fight, he would deserve it. And another one for me, again, I might be a bit biased, but one of the most improved boxers I've seen on the circuit in the last 18, 20 months, Billy Allington. Absolute superb.
And of course, then you had Joel Bartel out against Octave and Gratti, who Gratti's very tough. And Joel this time didn't get the stoppage, but he got some rounds that, in my opinion, which is good rounds that he banked.
Yeah, spot on, Sam. You know your stuff as always. That's exactly how I'd analyse it. It's always great to have him there. He has a great amateur pedigree. He's out of a great gym. He's in Mark Tibbs' Origin gym. He always brings the crowds with him. He had Elbrook and Emily Brooke there. That made all the blokes in the building really happy, which is great. And they're good friends of ours. John Edges was there as well. So it's nice to have his team there. But more importantly than all that, Joel is a top class fighter. As an amateur, he was excellent. As a pro, he's had 2 fights beforehand, both with stoppages. Last time out, he stopped Angelo Antonio, who's not a journeyman. He's a prospect as well.
Yeah.
And that was a war, that fight. I think you were there actually, weren't you? Or you would have seen.
I wasn't at that one, but I mean, I've watched it on YouTube and I've watched it back so many times because it's just one of my favourite fights on one of your shows.
Well, do you know what, Sam? I think we've done about 35 fights now, and that's actually Billy Allington against Jamie Robinson, and that had a title on the line. That's hard to beat, but that's possibly just as good. It
Martin
was an
McDonough v Connor as well. That was that
there.
one.
Yeah, I agree. Look, we've had so many fights, but Bartel, very, very hard. This fella, we had to fly him in a couple of days before because there was an issue with his opponent that pulled out as well. We had a right nightmare on fight week, which tends to happen sometimes. So it's a change of opponent. Very durable, very strong. He was hard to put away. I mean, he was close to doing it. But again, getting the full 6 rounds under the belt, that's what Joel probably needs. I think that was his second 6 rounder, was it? Yeah. So, you know, it's good when you're getting these 6 rounders and he'll learn from that. And hopefully we'll have him back out very soon.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Mikey Webber Kane got the win, and so did Robert Caswell. That leads up to their fight on the 14th.
Yeah, look, we expected both to win, and they both did that. So comfortable wins for both of them. I don't think either of them had any trouble really. A nice bit of banter in the bar after. You've probably seen that on our socials where we had one set of fans, one end, one the other. It was very much done in taste, and we're singing like there's only one Webber Kane, there's only one Rob. Sell a lot of tickets there for that being their big step up. They're both undefeated. I think Rob's now 7-0. Michael's probably 10-0. Now is the time for both of them to go and fight for a title. Someone's always got to
go. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk to that about that show like in another video sometime closer to the show. But I mean, at the minute, I can't pick a winner. Honestly, I can't split them.
Yeah, we didn't know much about Michael, only what I've seen and heard. We've never had any dealing with him. I know some people from some of the gyms that go up to Norwich and spar him there, and he comes down and what he's good. So that's obviously good. Rob, we know a lot better. You know, he's from Kent. We've had Rob 2 or 3, maybe 4 times now in his journey. So we know Rob well. Lovely lad, brilliant to deal with. Great trainer and manager, and Adam Martin, and a really good stable there as well. So the noises I'm hearing, Sam, is pretty much the same as what you're saying. One can really pick it. So that's what the fans want to see, right? So a nice 50-50 where you're not going in thinking, oh, he definitely wins. And both of them are putting the O on the line because they've got to go and get that southern area. But both can, which is nice to see.
Yes. And then last, there's 2 more that we haven't spoken about on this card, so we don't miss anyone. Jack Daly got a stoppage win over Nathan Jr. on his debut, and every time he hit Nathan, he got a reaction like he hurt Nathan every time he hit him.
Yeah, he was a little bit bigger than him on the night, to be fair. So there was a bit of a size difference. However, it was made at cruiserweight, and that's what Jack came in at. Credit to Jack. I've known Jack a little while, since I was doing what you did about 3 or 4 years ago. I interviewed him. He, very quiet lad. He sold ridiculously well. It was his debut. He's a Francis Warren fighter, so it's always nice to get one of Francis's fighters on. I don't think Francis just signs anyone, clearly. Sold well, and I predicted 2 knockouts on the night, but that was definitely one of them, and he didn't disappoint. He really pleased the crowd there and got the stoppage and probably stole the show because of it. Great ring walk, lots of fans there, really enjoyed it. I spoke to him yesterday. It was like best day I've ever had. I was like, well, that's just the start of your journey, and again, we'd be honoured to be able to get involved with that journey going forward, depending on what they got plans. I'd imagine they've got bigger plans for him, but you never know. Sometimes they put them out on our shows just to get them a bit more experience.
And what other fight did you expect the knockout? Probably Bartel, though.
Yeah, I thought Joel would get it. I did, and there's nothing wrong that he didn't. You know, his experience tells us after the last against this fella, but we didn't know much about him, Octavian Gratti, other than that we picked him up from the airport, ferried him around the hotels, looked after him, and then drove him back. But again, really nice guy, Gratti, but he did what he had to do to get through the rounds. Yeah,
and he did as well. But same with Balraj Kara, I think that's how you say it. He beat Gennady. Can't pronounce his surname because I'll be here all day. But yes, Gennady's one tough man.
Yeah, Krajewski is how I believe it's pronounced, mate. But I'm probably wrong as well, Sam. But I'll give it a bash. Yeah, look, Balraj, we've had Balraj 3, 4, 5 times now, so we're definitely part of his journey. We know his manager well, Harry. We work with him and we work with Balraj. He put on quite a good polished performance there. He won all 4 rounds. I think it was 40 points, sorry, at 36. So I'm sure Balraj will be stepping up soon. Could do with some 6 rounders. If he's 5-0 now, 6-0, he's going to start getting towards where he's banging on a door for a Southern Area title at some stage. Maybe a couple more fights, in my opinion, before we start looking at that. But really good performance and well done to Balraj.
That moves us on to this Saturday's Canning Town show at the Peacock Gym. You've got Jack Hughes the return of the Punk Kid, Jack Hughes v Jake Pollard.
Oh, I got you there.
Wait, can you hear
sorry,
me?
Jack Hughes. I can now, mate.
Oh, connection's a bit.
Hughes, he's managed by us now, so obviously looking.
Yeah, wait, continue. My internet's been a bit rubbish, so we'll just have to deal with the lag.
Yeah, no worries, bud. So Jack Hughes, he's our fighter now. We managing him, look after him. So he's been inactive for a little while. So it's nice to have Jack out. I'm just trying to think. We've matched him again today because that had to change. He's in with Jake Pollard, as you said. So yeah, that'll be a nice comeback fight for Jack, and he's sharpening them tools, mate. He's out a week later as well, so all being good. We don't sort of like count our chickens, but providing he wins the weekend, he should be out on another show a week later. And hopefully he'll get the ring rust off, and then we'll be looking to get him in title fights by the back end of the year. He's already won a Southern Area before,
So in
but he's been inactive.
English.
Yeah, it might be. It might be that we go down a Southern Area again. We don't know. It might be that we go for an English. They're little fellas down at them weights, Sam. So there aren't loads of them, and he's got a good record already and some good experience. We don't want to rush him back, but
Yeah.
I don't think he needs many fights to just sort of like get the cobwebs off. We know the level Jack's at. So
And of course,
I'm sure.
Jake Pollard might fancy his chances because Jack's been out for quite a while, and Jake's coming off a win over Louis Smithson, who he
I've
rematches
lost
on that show. So Jake might fancy.
Yeah, that was on our. That was on our show as well. Spot on, Sam. Jake will come to win. Definitely will. And he might fancy his chances because he's been inactive. We expect Jack to have a little bit too much for Jake, but it is a good fight. And let's see what Jake brings to the table on Saturday.
And then you've also, that kindly sort of moves on because Harry Mullins is at that weight as well. I think he's superfly or maybe flyweight. But yes, you've got Harry Mullins against Castro. And Castro, of course, I think he was on your show against Ramez Mahmoud. He's an awkward customer, isn't he? So it's a decent opponent for Harry.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we expect Harry to come through it, but Brian Castro is awkward, needs a good test, and Harry needs that at this stage. We have a few fighters that we work with. We work with Harry and his manager Sam Kynock, so we'll look to get him in good fights going forward. He's similar weight to Jack Hughes, and then there's also Paul Roberts. He's managed by Mo, and he's got the Southern Area, I think, at the moment. So Mo obviously. He's not fighting on this show he's going to, but he's probably a couple of fights away before he starts taking on some of those fighters. He's with Freddie Warren, who we work closely with anyway. So exciting times ahead. Hopefully both for Harry and Jack, they both come through on Saturday, mate.
So could they potentially fight, or you don't want, or what?
Say again?
Could we see a fight with Harry Mullins and Jack Hughes, or?
Yeah, I think you could have any combination of them four. As Harry Mullins, Jack Hughes, Paul Roberts, Kareem Agius. They're all people we work with, we get on well with. They should be easily made. It's just if all parties are happy and they're ready for the fight. But a bit like we just mentioned with Rob and Michael Webber-Kane, eventually when those title fights come knocking, you have got to take 50-50 fights. That's why they're titles. And so I'm sure all four of those lads, when they're ready, will step up. Sounds like a nice little tournament to me. Maybe we should have them in 2 semi-finals and a final, Peacock or something on one night.
I mean, Jack and Paul, they've already shared 20 rounds. I'm sure they'd like a decent dust up again. And I think, Paul, because I was at Paul's fight when he fought Harry as well, and Paul beat him already. So maybe Harry would want to revenge that defeat. And then, Kareem's at that weight as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Some of them fluctuate between the weights, Sam, and there's a few pounds here and there, and they might fight the next fight at a weight above. But when you're talking like 3, 4, 5 pound that they got to shed, these lads can do that quite easy. When their title fights and the camp's right and their nutrition's right, they'll be ready for it. But yeah, you're right. Some of these have already fought each other. And when there's belts on the line, like you say, whether it's Southern Area, whether it's English.
What about Martin Hillman? Is he in there?
Yeah. He's in the mix as well. He's not one of our fighters, but watch this space. He is mandated for a title fight, and we may have that on our show, if not on one of Mo's. But another name that gets thrown in there, all got the potential to go on a lot further.
And then you've got PA Gordon, the Bahid Kamari, who fought Kyron Jones. That's a good fight, and that, in my opinion, that might be the one to steal the show.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. At the Peacock Gym, so pedigree there, and we know him well. Very, very talented, very quiet guy. Just goes about his business quietly. I think he's 2-0 now. He's not 3 yet. Is he 2-0? Both were on Peacock show, so this will be his third fight on a Peacock show. And a fight or two more, I'm sure the Peacock team will be sitting there thinking, right, when do we step him up and maybe have him on one of our York Call shows when he's ready. But a good talent. And again, the opponent, after the weekend, we saw how good he was and what kind of test he gave Kieran Jones. Kieran Jones is a lot more experienced than Paul Gordon. He's naturally a weight heavier. So let's see how Paul gets on against Badhir Kahami, get the name right, because they're kind of yardsticks or benchmarks where you measure people against. I know it's not like if Man United beat Liverpool and Liverpool beat Man City, does that mean Man United are better than Man City? It clearly doesn't work like that, Sam. I know you would love that because you're a Man U fan, but boxing's similar. But it does give you a gauge if someone struggles with a style or someone doesn't do as well as the other one. Naturally, people
start.
Or if someone doesn't do so well, you think, maybe they're not ready yet.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, but that could be a good. That's going to be a good fight. Then you've also got Alfie Price as well, v Rustam, who, as we know, tough as nails again. I think he's coming off a win, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we won pretty recently. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Alfie Price, one of the most talented fighters. He just signed with Lee as a manager. He comes out of the hot box with Sab Leo and Alex Leo. They have a history of training great fighters. I don't know Alfie myself. We haven't really worked together because he's been a bit inactive the last few years, but the talent he has, and anyone you speak to, and I can tell you now, when I'm trying to make title fights, Sam, the guy's one of the most avoided people out there. So hats off to Alfie. Come out, get the ring rust off here, and I'm sure Lee and then Alfie, they'll be looking at title fights straight away. He's won titles before. I think a landslide against Jeff Ofori a few years back, which I'm sure you've seen. People don't do that to Jeff unless you're super talented. So providing it's the Alfie that we're used to before. Title fights later in the year, early part of next year. So we're delighted to be working with Alfie on Saturday.
And of course, is it Charlie Cooper? Is it?
That's it, yeah. His debut. So we're looking forward to and we're looking forward to seeing. I don't know much about Charlie. I've not actually met Charlie yet, which is a shame. We always like to know the fighters first, but good opportunity for him to showcase his skills on a Peacock show.
And what weight's he competing at? And how many weeks has he had notice? Is he like one you put on last minute, or?
He got moved around. There were a couple of bits, but he's been in camp. So he's been, I'm trying to think. I'm not 100% sure what the weight has been made at because the matchmaker did it. That match has been made very recently.
Well,
Charlie's
got Fonz.
Yeah, Fonz, yeah. Charlie's been in the gym and ready probably for his debut for a little while. So he's probably
welterweight or super welter because that's where he normally fights.
I think it's at welter, but I haven't got the weights written down in front of me. But he'll be somewhere in between at worst case. And we're excited to see Charlie because you never know with a debutant, right? Sometimes you get a debutant to come out and they're like, wow, didn't know much about him. And hopefully he puts on a good show as well.
Yes, of course. And Fonz is tough as they come as well. And then you've got Haji, who was on the last Peacock show. It was a good performance from him last time out. He's got Josh Cook. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you now, mate. Sorry, Sam, there was a lag there, but I've got you. Yeah, look, Haji, Muji, Mo, as we affectionately call him, lots of different names. He is a ridiculous talent. If you haven't done your homework on him before, go on to BoxRec and look at his amateur pedigree, Sam. And anybody who's watching this, because he's fought a who's who and beaten a who's who of top fighters out there now. He's been in with Cyrus Pattinson, Echo Esserman, beat Carl Fowl in the amateurs, and we expect Carl. Yeah, we expect Carl Fowl to go a long way. He's come from Finland, so they've kind of gone under the radar, but his amateur pedigree is ridiculously good.
How did
And I
he
think
get on with against Echo, and who was the other one you said?
he got beat by Eckerman, I think, beat by Cyrus Pattinson, is my understanding, but he beat
Yeah.
Carl Fowl. I
Hmm.
mean, amateurs are amateurs and pros are pros. You know, Carl Fowle's one of the best talents out there, and we love Carl. He's a friend. We had him on our first ever show, a
Mm.
friend of TM14. So, but that's the kind of level that Mo or Muji's at. I think is he 3-0 now?
3-0.
I mean, yeah. So he had one in Finland. He's had one in the Peacock. I think he had one before. Having him out again now to get to 4-0. Again, I don't expect it to be long. A couple more fights for Mo, and they'll be banging on the door for some big 50-50s for him. And we'll enjoy the journey with Mo, but we expect Mo to go on a very long way in the sport. I never like predicting where because you might look stupid, and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want fights ahead of himself, but we expect him to go very, very far. And again, we'll look back and go, we were part of his journey early doors. I
So
wouldn't
do
be
you
surprised.
think, like, because Mo's, well, from, like, come from Finland, would he be able to fight for, like, an area title?
My understanding is if you've got an English license, then potentially yes. Currently, Mo has a Finnish license, so the answer would be no. The traditional route, right? Southern area, English, British, European, world. You know, you look at someone like Dan Aziz, that's the exact route he's done it. That's a nice Cinderella story doing it that way. But there's loads of people that didn't win or didn't even fight southern areas because their amateur pedigree was too good. You know, some people wouldn't even put them in at that level. You give them a couple of easy, quick fights, and then they're in English kind of level fights already, if not more. Mo's experience is very good. As I said, he's not massively known because Finland isn't exactly a hotbed of talent, or it's not known for it in boxing. And
Hmm.
because he's not English, doesn't speak English, he just goes about his business, goes to work. Again, he's out of the Peacock. You don't get better sparring than that day in, day out. And I watch him. He's a very good fighter. So I'm pretty certain he comes through on Saturday. Let's see how convincing. And then let's enjoy his journey, whether that's with us in the next one or on a bigger platform. But we wish him well.
Hmm. And what can fans expect Saturday? Like, how would you describe your show?
Well, you know, the Peacock shows said this before. I don't know if I've said it on your platform or not, but it's the only place in the country that you're going to go in the UK that you're going to get on a fight where you don't have to pay. You haven't got to put in the house. You haven't got to pay for your opponent. It's all paid for by sponsors. The fighters even get paid a bit of money as well. The home fighters. There's no demand for them to sell large amounts of tickets. You know, myself when we're doing our York Hall shows and all my rivals and competitors and friends, whether that's Nielsen's or the Warrens or Lee Eaton, Mervyn Turner, Johnny Clark, these kind of people, you have to have some money into the show to pay for those shows because they cost a lot of money. So these shows are ideal for fighters to be able to get out that maybe don't sell a ton of tickets. The ticket prices are really cheap. So if you're not got anything to do on Saturday, you want to come and watch some top quality boxing, you've been there, Sam. You come in Saturday, it's £25 a ticket. You're not going to get paid like that. You have 6 fights. It's on an afternoon, so you still got your
And
evening to be with your
brilliant
friends.
fights as well.
That's all we're interested in, some good 50-50 fights. It helps the fighters who can't sell tickets. It helps build up their experience and their resume and their CV so that then they're more ready to start going for those big title fights without the stresses of having to worry to do 150 tickets on an expensive venue.
Hmm. And thank you for your time, John, and good luck with the show.
That's right, Sam. I look forward to seeing you Saturday, mate.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Bye-bye, mate. Bye-bye.